Hello and welcome back to module number 12. And today we are going to talk about social network, and we are going to talk about social network in the context of visualization. So I will start my discussion. What is a network? What does it mean to be part of a network? And then I will talk about the application and your assignment. So, what is a network? It has a specific links among defined set of people or persons with additional property with the characteristics of those link as a whole may be provide interpretation of social behavior. And this is from Mitchell in 1969, and that's before the social network become popular. So in his book, he talks about one of the first places that we have social network is high school. And we have different experience in high school. I don't know about you, but I had in one school, I attended one school from first grade until the last grade, and all my social network came from that school. So that's where the network was provided to me. Some of us nowadays use social media, and we often see other people post the announcements, and they ask us to like them, hire them, watch them. Like your professor, I like you to watch my videos in YouTube. And so it's all about accepting me or agree with me. And so one of the things that I really like is the idea of the characteristics that we are adopt to social network. And again, this is cartoons, and it's really funny. You have to look at that in depth in order for you to understand what does it entail. So how do we apply visualization to social network? And again, the issue is the influence and the movement and the data that we come up with in order for us to visualize the outline. So this is example of social network, and again, this is from school district. And the issue is, and again, the point of race and how the visual person in the that created this infographics try to emphasize race and the color with that. So network and power. And the issue is that one of the things before the social network was developed, the idea that network has the issue of power. Who has more influence? The um, Hollywood playboy, or the person who works in the factory? And so those are the things that often network scholar often discuss with regard who has more power. So the idea here is that we are talking about the development of social network analysis. What do we analyze? How do we analyze it? And what is the idea behind it? One of the first framework or theory that developed the idea of social network was the Gestalt theory. And the idea here is that we have a group dynamic and we have a graph theory that allowed us to capture this dynamic. And so this is how he outlined the idea behind it. But what is a social network? It is a set of nodes and a set of connection between the nodes. Example, friends. Example, people that you met or relatives. And so social network by its definition is often trying to analyze or trying to find the change of communication of information. So we have in network analysis, we have the actor, the rationale type, the type, tried, the subgroup, the group, the relationship, and all together are put into social network. So the actor is the example of people in a group or department within a corporation or public service agency in a city. Those are the definition in 2008 that came into mind when we talked about actor. Actors also are linked to another by social ties. So the idea is a tie is established link between a pair of actors. And the idea here is that we can have a rational tie with biological, example, family. We have, example, in a workplace, we have the boss and his assistant, and we have some categorical organization that we are being sort based on it. So those are the things that we need to look at when we do network analysis. Tied is a tie between two actors, example, Charles and Bob. And so the idea here is how are they connected? Are they related? Are they work on the same product, or they develop the same ideas? I don't know, but this is part of the definition that a scholar try to develop with that idea. The next type of relationship is called triad, and it is the idea of triangulation. So one influenced another, but we have three relationship or sub-relationship between three actors. And so this is the difference between the two relationship and the three relationship and how it comes about. We also have the subgroup. A subgroup is the idea of any subgroup of actors and all ties among them. And a group, according to this scholar domain, is that they are calling it collection of all actors of which the ties to be measured. So the actors of the group belong together in much or less bounded set and then have some relationship between them. Example, experience. Example, if there are people who do sport, their score or the type of league they are playing. All those type are type of the group. Relationship is a collection of ties of a specific kind among member of the group. So example, a set of relationship among children in the classroom. So how does it work? What is the network data? What is the sample? What type of network are we talking about? And what are the variables, the modes, and the affiliation variables? So the variables in that set or in that mindset, that has two structure. One is a structural variable and one is composition variable. Under structural variable are measured by of pairs of actors that are milestone of the social network data set. So they are measured in a specific kind of pair of actors. Example, business transaction between corporation, between friends and people, or between nations. In comparison to the other type of variables are measured by the attributes. Example of attributes is a race, gender, and ethnicity, of people. So those are the variables that we often apply when we are trying to measure. The nodes are the number of set of entities on which the structural variables are measured. So there is one mode, all actors come from one set, and there is two modes that there are two sets of actors that consist of corporation or another organization, and they work together. So one mode as the example below, and two nodes, and those are the things that we are looking for. Affiliation variable is that something that associate with those network. Example, if all the people in LinkedIn that you are connected to have also the same hobby, it's affiliation that associate. And so those are the things that we often look for to find the common sense or the common ground to those affiliation. We have boundary specification and sample. What is the sample, the population, or what is the population itself? How do you measure that? And how to apply it to it? And those are the things that we are looking for. So the focus of international between the interaction between individual and groups are what we are calling social network analysis. We had a node, we had a tie, and we are trying to measure any identity in the network, such as person, a system, or group or organization, and its tie to another group. And so those are the things that we are looking for when we are trying to analyze social network analysis. So we have to be aware of things like what is it consist of, and the type of forms and the type of network we are trying to examine. And those are the things that we apply to. One of the things that I want you to keep in mind, I will not cover that in class, is graph theory. The idea of graph theory is the idea of mathematical graph that able to capture the network connection, but this is part of students who focus on statistics and mathematics that usually learns about graph theory and how to apply that. In the overall scheme, the idea of the network has the idea of the strength or the weakness of the relationship, the social interaction, and the social capital that is part of a network or theory that we are trying to examine. So we have the idea of social theory that we are trying to apply. We have type of networks, as I told you before, one mode, two modes, and what is it inside them is the actors, the relationship, and the actor attributes to it brings to the connection. We can verify by this type of analysis the people, the subgroup, the organization, and the committees that all apply to it. And again, this is part of the idea of social network analysis. So the idea is, what is social network analysis, or in short, S&A, is a set of rationale method for systematically understand and identify the connection among actors. So when we are talking about S&A in the context of social media, this is type of understanding how to test the structure or the relationship between them in order for us to do that. So the idea, again, I try to bring you a little bit background on the framework that network analysis and social network analysis work with regard to social capital and how to apply that and what is the idea behind it, and you will have the PowerPoint to go over that. One of the things that is really hard to do is to analyze social network. We are very blessed that Twitter give us the data set. We can pull data set if we have a Twitter account. And so the idea of Twitter account is that we can able to see what is the connection, who is the actor, what is the idea behind the actor. And this is part of what we are doing. And if you look at my publication, I did TV on a TV series. I did Twitter analysis. It was painful. Why? Because there was a lot of data, and how I identify the actors is based on popularity. And so again, this is part of social network analysis that we're aiming to do, and this is part of the idea. But what we are going to experience is that you're going to learn about two applications. One is based on Excel that you apply to it and allows you to create something like this, which is quite powerful. The issue with that idea is that you have to have in your desktop or operation system, you have to have Excel. And I want to remind you that please do not purchase the subscription fee. Use the basic in order for you to apply to it. So this is the basic, and I will give you the links and everything to it. But I want to remind you not to use the monthly cloud because it's quite expensive. And again, this is part of what you do in the Excel, under Excel, and how to apply that. I will give you a PDF that goes on, that goes on to explain all the variables that goes on to this application after you download it to Excel. And it will help you to figure out how to apply the data, how to improvise. And to do that, just follow the instructions, see if it makes sense, and see if it help you. On the other hand, as you know, I am a not big fan of Microsoft Excel. So instead, I'm going to give you a reference to open source R and the idea of network analysis and visualization using iGraph. iGraph is a package, and in this case, you're going to install that. Again, you will install the iGraph, and you be able to follow this assignment by following the directions that the author of the iGraph package gave you in order for you to apply. And in the end, it will not be massive as Twitter or any other application that can be applied to, but you will be able to see the connection or the idea or the framework of a social network and how it apply. And it's quite fun because you will learn about how they categorize, how they apply to it, and be able to create something that is quite beautiful by itself. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you learn about what is social network analysis when we talk about that. And I hope you will enjoy your assignment applying the Excel add-on or open application that is available. Until next time, enjoy and have fun.